So it all started in 2016 when I bought my Seagull Razorlight 473 RL kayak, so this big tandem kayak I'm on right now. And I started to use it mostly on the river and lakes of Arkansas. And I quickly found out that the open design made it not able to paddle in rough conditions. So in lakes when it was windy or even rainy, the kayak will fill up with water pretty quickly. And it was also very sensitive to wind because it's so open. We were planning on paddling from Key Largo to Key West. It was a big project I started, so I understood that I needed to do something to make this kayak more seaworthy. That's when I started to build my first deck for a tandem kayak, so with two cockpits, one in the front, one in the back. It worked really well. We used it on lakes, rivers, open water, and during our Key Largo to Key West adventure for 9 days. And we moved to France in 2019. Just next to the Mediterranean Sea. So I knew I would be kayaking mostly on the sea from now on. And sometimes by myself, which made a deck for a single person more important. I try to use this double deck for just for myself, but when I'm sitting so far back, the front of the kayak lifts up and turns a lot in the wind, which makes it almost impossible to control when it's windy. So I decided to make a single deck, and I happened to receive the old sewing machine of my grandmother just at the time, so I was able to just buy the fabric and start the process of making this deck. For the last deck, I already glued the velcro on each side, and on each hand I decided not to glue on top of the writings because the glue will not hold very well, but it does make a hole for water to pass through, but it's not too big of a deal. The first thing I'm gonna do is to sew the front here, the front velcro, to have a reference. The first sleeve I'm gonna sew is gonna be here, and it will be large enough to have two pipes inside. And I made sure that it's far away enough from the beginning, just so that the edges of the pipes are resting on the side of the kayak. The front sleeve is set up with the two pipes inside it, and the front velcro is attached. And I was able to trim the fabric a little bit to make it more manageable. The next step is to make the two sleeves for the single pipe. So I got the fabric really tight on the whole kayak and pulled pretty hard to make sure that it was really tight on the back side of it. And then I marked the place of the velcro and cut it right there. Now I just need to sew the velcro. starting the next step of the project, which might be the most critical. So I'm marking on the side of the fabric the position of the velcro all along the side, and I'll cut exactly there to sew the other side of the velcro right on the edge. So I need to make sure the fabric is really tight everywhere. Alright, so it's time to do the longest section of sewing of the project. I finished to sew the velcro side off on the right side, and I was able to put it back on the kayak, and I just marked the other side. Okay, so now I have to sew the channel that's gonna host the PVC pipe. To do that, I'm gonna fold like this and make it about this wide. Should be plenty to fit the PVC pipe through it. It's too thick, so my sewing machine struggles. I'm gonna test if the PVC pipe fits correctly in there. Slide it like this. So because I had some issue with the previous deck, it's pretty hard to put the skirt on because this fabric is kind of vertical in the back, and it makes like the skirt slide up. So we'll fold and sew just in the back here, about 1 or 2 centimeters, to make it shorter and make it like the skirt does not slide up. Okay, so the next step will be to attach those little tightener to a piece of webbing. I'm done with sewing the velcro tape on both sides and on each end. I put every sleeve with the pipes in it to make the concave shape on the deck. I've done the sleeve for the cockpit. Just marked the hole of the cockpit based on the previous deck size and the skirt. And I cut the hole much smaller than the cockpit's size, so that I have margin and I can recut after. And now I am pinning the sleeve to make sure that I will sew it in the right position. time to start the most complicated seam of the project, which is the sleeve of the cockpit. So I pinned it earlier, actually yesterday night. Now I'm gonna have to sew it. To adjust this, the length, I have to do this little fold here.
It's a good start. In addition to the deck I just built, I did some other modification to the kayak. The seats. So I cut the backrest and replaced it with something I found on Amazon that's much lower and fits under the deck. And I also got a new fin that I cut to make much smaller, so that I'm able to turn the kayak easier when it's windy. far the conditions stay very good. It's a big rainbow to my right, beautiful. I made it to l'île Mer, so the island right behind the... And I'll paddle around it, then come back. The sea is still holding on pretty good. It's raining a bit, but not too much, so conditions are still very good. I just finished this side of the island. It was pretty rough, like about 2 or 3 feet, so 1 meter of messy waves. But it was okay, like the deck did great. Didn't take too much wave on top of it, just 1 or 2. And yeah, so I'm back on the very quiet part of the sea, where it's more sheltered from the wind coming from the west side of the Mediterranean. Very pleasant, very nice to be here. And I made it around the island, seeing Marseille right in front of me again. And it's time to go home, so I think I have 6 or 7 kilometers to paddle back home. It should take about 1 or 2 hours. I'm almost at the beach, back to where I started from. Overall, it's a very good experience. The deck did great, the smaller fin did great. I don't know which one has the most impact, but it was much easier to turn against the wind and to stay facing the wind without having the kayak just like living in one or the other direction. And it should be fully dry inside the kayak, even though it's been raining, and pretty choppy around the island. So really happy with the results. I'm exhausted though. I think I need to work out more because I only did like 15 kilometers. I feel like I did more than that. Anyways, I'll go back to the beach.